Welcome back. A 34-year-old man from Roodepoort in Johannesburg claims Home Affairs wrongfully recorded him as deceased in November last year. Lukhanyiso Mhlauli says it's had a major impact on his life. He can't access banking, rent property, secure employment, or even verify his identity. Mhlauli says he's made several attempts to rectify this at Home Affairs. Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana is with him in Roodepoort this morning. Zola, good morning. We hear about these stories every so often, don't we? And it's the one thing about it is that it's not something that is easy to rectify with Home Affairs, not at all.
Yes, indeed, Michelle, considering the fact that Lukhanyiso has tried several times to, go to Home Affairs offices and tell them about this, where they would say, it shows on our system that you are deceased, but we see you right in front of us. And really, he is in a state of confusion because he doesn't know how it got to this point. Now, his greatest fear is that he could possibly lose his job because the industry that he works in, requires him to constantly verify his identity. Now, without, being declared deceased by Home Affairs can actually, cause problems for him. But let's get to speak to him about this, Lukhanyiso, thank you very much for your time. Just take us through when you realize that you have been declared deceased by Home Affairs, as you say.
I think that was a shock of my life. I think I nearly died there. Yeah, for real now. But yeah, no, it was a shock. And at the same time, I think the biggest problem is when I ask the question to say, okay, who killed me? How am I dead? And then it's a blurry answer. I'm not getting a proper answer to say, oh no, you died and this may be probably a photo, this is how you died or whatever. But yeah, but it's definitely devastating. Mm-hmm. Even now, yeah.
I'm looking at a document that you got from Home Affairs which says you died of unnatural causes. And we are with you, here. You are reporting to work. You are very much alive.
Yep.
What are your greatest fears? In fact, before we speak about that, take us through the process with Home Affairs when you realize that you need to stand up for this because this is hindering you from doing a lot of things, such as applying for rentals.
So, story is, so when I got to Home Affairs, I was made to fill a form, right? So I did fill in the form. I had no issues, and then I was told, come back after 2 months. I come back after 2 months, and then they say, no, the document was wrong, or whatever the case may be. They mentioned something, track and trace was not done, or something of that nature. I don't know what that is. And I was like, okay, but what is that? I think that's actually why I actually stood up to say, I'm going to go to head office and ask, what is this? Like, what's going on? But no one is giving me a clear answer. They're just telling me their terms. I don't work there. I don't know what track and trace is. And when I still get there, I'm still refused to say, can I please see the DG or someone higher, or even the minister for that matter? They're like, no, you can't. You need to go to the other Home Affairs. I get there. I still sit. I still get the same answer up until I was like, you know what? Let me rather, because one of the comments I got from them, they were like, if you're not going to fill in these forms, you'll be dead forever. I was like, yo. Okay, you even saying that to me, it means maybe you're the one that made me dead in the first place on your system. I don't know. But I think them not being clear as to what's happening, I think that's what causes frustration.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about frustration, how has this affected your life? You did mention earlier that you are unable to apply for, rental. There's basically nothing you can do at this point.
Nothing. I think, yeah, that's the worst thing ever. Because, I mean, like, in life, you really do want to get the nice things, But I can't even, because even the other day I applied for a car, I still couldn't because it says I'm deceased. Rental, I'm still can't get it. And I mean, like, okay, I have a small family, but we're planning to move a bit out of Joburg, but I can't do that now because I think the main aim was to get away from the city, and we can't get approval. I have to be stuck in Joburg until whenever Home Affairs decides to, make me undead, as I am.
Just tell us, what is your greatest fear?
The greatest fear is where I work. I mean, like, it's a financial institution, it would look dodgy when they do, because obviously it's part of compliance. We have to do it every now and then, whereby they go do your checks and all of that. And I know this year is probably we due for checks. And if they say that I'm deceased, they are probably going to say, stay at home. How am I going to feed my family? How's my child going to go to school? You know, and all of that. So I think that is my biggest fear. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lukhanyiso, for your time. Michelle, you heard him speak about his fears and also how this has impacted his life greatly, essentially saying at this particular moment, there's nothing that he can be able to do. And he also speaks about his experience with Home Affairs officials when he went to, inform them about this issue and also, trying to find out how can they best assist him. But we will be speaking to Home Affairs about this and find out how are they going to be assisting him, because we understand that he has been allegedly declared dead since last year, November. So it's been a couple of months now. The 2 months period that he was told to wait has long, gone. And now we need to know what's going to happen moving forward, because he says he wants his life to return to normal like any other human being. Back to you in studio.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre, isn't it? And I suppose part of the questions we need to put to Home Affairs is, why is this something that is so hard to rectify? Certainly if he has all of the documentation to prove that, as he says, he is indeed alive. I suppose, Zola, the question is, and I wonder whether he even has this answer, is how did this happen? I mean, was there a stage where he had policies taken out in his name? Is this a case of identity theft in one way or another?
Well, from what he has told me, Michelle, he hasn't experienced any of that. In fact, we can ask him that question. Was there a point where there was fraud, done using your documents? Could be your ID or policies taken using your name?
No, not that I'm aware of. And I didn't get such, no, not at all. Because I think I did go to, what do you call that, fraud protection thingy. I did also ask them. They didn't give me anything. They just said I must just protect my ID or stuff like that. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much, Lukhanyiso. There you have it, Michelle. He is saying that he hasn't had any of that, he hasn't had those issues, or at least he's not aware of those issues. This is something that happened towards the end of 2024. So he was not informed of any kind of fraudulent activity that was, done using his details. But it would be very interesting to find out from Home Affairs, as you have said, why is it so difficult for them to rectify this error? This is not a minor error, Michelle. This is a major one that is costing him so many things in his life. And he has mentioned that his greatest fear is losing his job, because he says they need him to verify his identity at work, but he's unable to do that because of this issue. So we do hope that Home Affairs will be able to resolve this sooner.